What's up, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Over the Top Rope, one I'm especially excited for. As you can see, my guest is the Marcus Cross. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, man, I'm great. I'm happy to be here. I've been looking forward to this one, so let's rock and roll.
Let's do it, man. I'm glad you're excited because then that gets me excited, and then we make some magic happen.
Heck yeah, dude.
And one of the first things I wanted to bring up, which I was instructed to bring up, is my wife told me to tell you she is just a massive fan of your hair, up or down.
Well, which phase of my hair? Are we talking like my hair, how it has been lately, or like old Marcus Cross with the big hair?
She's a fan of both. She is just a little partial to the big hair.
Yeah, most people normally are. Well, I mean, that's kind of like one of the things that makes me stand out and unique. You know, a lot of people when in the business of wrestling, you try to find something that is yours that you can hold on to and kind of like label as your own. One of those things that I've always thought of is my hair. You know, so I try to make it special and unique to me. So
Absolutely. How did the how was the hair born, so to speak?
originally, when I did the original, so obviously I'm not a blonde, but I was in. I think it was 2018.
Hmm.
Like it was like a New Year's thing, and I was dared by my girlfriend at the time to go blonde to like bleach my hair. She was like, "You wouldn't do it," and I was like, "You're right. I think it would look stupid." But then I tried it, and I got a good. And I had always kind of like spiked my hair up a little bit. It wasn't as long as it is now. But then the first time I went out to a wrestling match and I had the blonde hair and it was spiked up, a lot of people really caught on to it like right away. So I was like, oh, if this, people grabs people's attention, then I'm gonna hold on to this for a little bit. And I ended up taking really good care of it, and I loved it.
Well, it definitely shows. It definitely comes through that you take care of it. Because as a person who is going bald at 26, I'm mad jealous.
Oh, well, don't be, man, because I can't grow none of this right here. I would honestly, if I had to cut my hair and go back to brown just for some of this, I would, because it just comes in all patchy and it just doesn't look good.
Maybe a little trade off if the time comes.
Maybe that'd be nice. Make me look more rugged. Everyone thinks I look like I'm like 18, 19 years old. I'm like, no, man, I'm 24. But they you
Oh,
couldn't
man.
tell because like I don't grow nothing.
Well, you make up for it in the hair, which we all love. We're all a fan of, and it definitely, absolutely sets you apart. Because put Marcus Cross in a crowd of 6 million people, and you're pointing them out.
Yeah, exactly. I had one spot on AEW Dynamite one night where Lance Archer like pulled me out from the crowd, and it's like, and the hair. I mean, I had only worn the hair up until that point, and the hair was down and everything, but still, right away, as soon as it hit Facebook and Twitter, it was like, oh, I know who that is. That's Marcus. That's Marcus. It's like, even when it was down, it's like you could tell that's who it was.
Yeah, I was like, come on, Lance, you didn't have to do my boy Marcus like that. Like that was unnecessary, uncalled for.
Exactly.
People who follow me know that I'm a big Nightmare Factory fan, which is a great
Hmm.
training facility. But also, like, kind of me and you briefly chatted about. There's a ton of talent coming from Firestar, which you have firsthand, knowledge of, and firsthand dealing with.
Exactly. I say right up there with, with the Nightmare Factory and the Monster Factory. Firestar is probably one of the top premier places where talent is coming out of on the East Coast today. Like if you go up and down the East Coast, even when the Ring of Honor dojo was, functioning at its peak, and Griff and I went and trained there for a little bit, still Firestar is the place where people are getting like hands-on ground level basic training, psychology that a lot of other schools just aren't necessarily promoting that much. And it's making the students that come out of that program uh, go on to shows and events and be able to perform and keep up with veterans and higher level talent at a much quicker rate. People can graduate from that program, and I've seen as little as like 6 or 7 months. It took me and Griff Garrison, we graduated at the same time. It took us about 8 or 9 months. Now, some people have been in that program for 2.5, 3 years,
Mhm.
and before they were able to graduate or even longer. But I mean, if you're serious about it, the coaching is amazing. LeBron Cozone, the owner, he
Mhm.
brings in lots of uh, talent to do seminars in house for the trainees there who get like, uh, you'll get a special discounted price if you're a trainee of that school. Anyone can come and take those seminars, but you get
Mhm.
special discounted prices. People like Caprice Coleman, like Chris Hero, Dax
Mhm.
Hardwood. These people have come in and performed seminars there. He has at least like one or two guys every other month coming in to perform these seminars, which is great training all around. And so definitely Firestar is one of the premier places. And I'm not just saying that because it's home to my heart. Me and Griff are only the
Mhm.
third and fourth graduates of the whole program in
Wow.
general, when there was only like maybe 9 or 8 students at the time, and now he has like 100+ students.
Yeah.
So, but that's just a testament to how hard he's worked to grow his product. And I think of his students' ability to go out and make waves, that he's able to have as many students as he does now.
Yeah, I think you touched on so many great things there because I'm not a wrestler. Obviously, I've never took a bump, wouldn't know what the first thing about it was. But a lot of the stuff you just touched on comes through when you guys are in the ring, going against your opponents. That the training that you receive has worked out very well for you because I don't I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm sure there's probably hundreds and thousands of training facilities out there, and I'm pretty sure there's probably a few out there that you don't get what you would get at Firestar, and you don't get that level of I guess like care and attention, and it comes through when you guys are in the ring.
Exactly. I mean, so when I was in high school and college, I did theater and drama as well. And I mean, if wrestling is anything, it's athletic, but it's also a show and a performance and drama too. So, and what the most important thing, um, next to the actual days of the performance and the shows in theater and drama, is your dress rehearsal. Is going through the whole motion of the show, exactly how it's blocked and laid out. And the thing that you get at Firestar is, as a training academy, it also produces live events and its own TV shows and branded shows itself with Starfire and Superpower. Also, it has Future Blaze, where
Mhm.
a lot of the people who haven't even graduated yet, who are still trainees, they'll get to, cut their teeth in the ring and perform on shows. And I was at Firestar. I don't get to make it over there as much now as I would like, because I'm still working, jobs and trying to be on the road traveling as much as I can for wrestling. I was there last month and I tried to show up for a training class, and they're doing a trainee show. So like they're in full gear. They're performing full matches with promos and entrances just in house. It's not open to
Mhm.
the public or anything,
Yep.
but this is where people are going to get experience for the full experience of being a wrestler. Like, they're putting on a whole show just for themselves, so they already know what to expect when they go and perform in front of a live crowd. That I wish a lot of other schools would be doing, for their trainees, and not just throwing them out into, the deep end right away.
Yeah, and it seems like that would be like I don't want to say like a no-brainer in training, but that just seems like one of the little things that so many, I guess like trainers or schools would overlook is just literally going through a show as if it was happening, just maybe without the audience. That's pretty cool. I never knew that.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that seems like a no-brainer. I don't know if you know Will Huckabee. I just
Yeah.
saw him post something on Facebook the other day that's talking about how wrestling coaches and trainers, he's upset that they're not teaching their students and trainees how to properly construct a wrestling resume, which consists of the experience that you've had, who you've been trained by, the seminars you've been to, notable matches and stuff that you've had. And this is important to send to places not just like WWE and
Mhm.
AEW if you want to do extra work or dark matches and extra talent stuff there, but to any other notable promotion. If you want to go to CZW, or if, like, when Ring of Honor was still running and we just went to the camp, we had to have a constructed resume in order to just go to their camp and things like that. So a lot of stuff that seems pretty basic that you would know just doesn't get taught by one one single wrestler
Mhm.
who's trying to bring, I mean, and I applaud anyone who's trying to further the business and trying to bring other people up and teach them properly how to act in the ring, how to act in the locker room, and how to bump safely, keep yourself safe and keep others safe. That is 100% awesome. But stuff that's going to take you a lot farther in this career, if you want it to be a career, you need to be in a place like Firestar, like the Monster Factory, that's going to teach you this kind of stuff to help you be your own business and help you grow. Because as a wrestler, as an independent contractor, you're your own business. And that's the stuff that you need to know and learn.
And I've preached about that on a lot of interviews. Is I don't think, a lot of friends or a lot of wrestling fans, they like to kind of keep themselves distanced from, I guess like the behind the scenes kind of stuff. They just want to watch and be entertained. But to me, as a fan, it goes a lot further than that. And I preach that a lot, in interviews, is how you guys are essentially running a business and you are your, own business manager in a way. And I just don't think a lot of people look at it that way.
Exactly. And personally, I don't know a lot about business. That's why when I went to college, I ended up changing my degree a few times and I ended up settling for an associate's that had a concentration in business. But
Mhm.
ultimately, I needed my own agent. I need Bill Behrens. You know him.
Yeah.
He's the guy that helped me and Griff get as far as we could. He's the one who gave us the direction and gave us the mentality of treating ourselves like a business, getting things like the name Griff Garrison or Master and Machine,
Mhm.
trademarked and licensed so that that belongs to him and to us, so that no one else can, take that and that we can get paid off of it and things like that. It's stuff like that that a lot of people don't think about getting into the business, but it's very important to learn.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too, as far as like the trademarking and stuff like that, because wrestling's been around for not since the beginning of the time, but it's been around for years.
Almost.
Yes, yeah, almost, and it's really hard to come up with something that already hasn't been done, or a name that hasn't already been used, or somewhat close to a name that hasn't already been used. And I think that's a good thing you touched on there that a lot of people may not put that much thought into, is trying to keep what's yours basically.
Yeah. I mean, that's very important. I mean, that's the whole purpose of, a gimmick pretty much and it's the hair too. It's standing out, is being unique. That's how you're going to draw eyes and attention to you. What is your brand without recognition? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're 1,000% right. And along the lines of being recognized and all that stuff, you've had quite a bit of time on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation.
Yeah, and if you've seen me on AEW Dark, you've seen me with the hair up and the hair down, and every time I go out, I try to rock it, the best I can. I'm very grateful, and I love every opportunity that I've gotten with them so far. I'm gonna go back down to Universal Studios again. They're taping on June the 11th, so
Yeah.
that's next weekend. So that's the next time I'm gonna be down there taping for their darks, and I still got to get some blood work done this week for them, because it comes up like every 6 months. So I still got some stuff I got to do to get ready for it, but I'm excited. I love working with them, and it's a great locker room. It's a great vibe and experience just being around those people at AEW.
Yeah, and that's a consensus that I hear for the local guys that have had the opportunity to be on Dark, because when people interview you guys, I'm sure it's a huge talking point. People beat it to death, but I love the fact that AEW gives you guys the chance to go and do that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I mean, the way I see it online, at least, it gets a lot of mixed reactions, because it's like, obviously, if this is a dark match and you have an established talent and they're going against some jobber or some extra talent that you've never seen before, it's like, it's boring. You already know who's going to win the match. It's like, well, okay, you don't know what's gonna happen though. You're assuming and thinking what's gonna happen. This is where people like me, this is where people were Griff Garrison, the Varsity Blonde,
Hmm.
started. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I guarantee you, people in 2 to 3 years from now, when he's going for the TNT title, when he's going for the AEW World Heavyweight title, they're gonna be going back and looking at his dark matches when he had before he had anything with MJF, when he was getting squashed by people like Lance Archer and and Frankie Kazarian and all these people. They're going
Yeah.
to be looking at these matches that he had on AEW Dark, and they're going to stitch them together into a cool little promo and be like, oh, this is when Griff started. Look where he's at now. But like, yeah, this, like, there's groundwork for everything. This is where it starts. So, and I love people that realize that and recognize that, and they pay attention to Darks, because then they know who the people who pay attention to that, they know who the stars are going to be. They know, I mean, we can call them smart marks or whatever, but these are people who pay attention to the product. They realize talent, and they're going to be able to help you further your career as a wrestler. So anyone that's on Dark, you're going to see them go out, do their best, make the most of every opportunity that they're given, because this is how you make a name for yourself. This is where you get in and go through the motions. So I love every opportunity. I've had an AEW Dark. I've gotten lots of great feedback from people like QT Marshall and Christopher Daniels. I love Christopher Daniels.
Yeah.
And they've given me a lot of feedback, and they've been really helpful and supportive and stuff like that. So hopefully that's a trend that I can keep going,
Yeah, because of course, anybody from when Firestar's on there, I sit down and I watch every bit of it, and I think it was I can't remember. I think it was back around the New Year. I want to say TIM was on.
Yeah.
Alexander Moss and LeBron were all on the same show. That was like
Exactly.
to me that was like heaven. Like that to me was better than Dynamite. That was better than Raw. And I'm just like sitting there eating it all up.
It was on an elevation, and it was like a total, North Carolina guy Firestar takeover. It was really cool to see. And you got to see, because TGA went against Jay Lethal.
Yep.
And then I forgot who Kozone was. It Frankie Kazarian? I can't remember.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, Kozone wrestled Frankie Kazarian, and they had slobber knockers of a match. They had great matches, and I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah, and that's just like, and I mean, without you're not going to get that chance with another big promotion, if you know what I'm saying. Another promotion that's on TV, they're just not. Because I've said it before, and I've gotten laughed at, and I've gotten slack on Twitter. It takes talent to lose. It really does. It takes talent to make your opponent look good and make sure that you're letting them hit their spots right. And people just see like you or Kozon and go on Dark and like, oh, well, Marcus is going to lose. There's no point in watching it. Yeah, but you can also learn a lot by watching someone lose. And there's people scouting you whether you go over or not.
There's so many different types of matches, which is why, like, if you see me wrestle at a show like Firestar or at PWF in South Carolina or Southern Fried or Anarchy Wrestling in Georgia, you're going to see me try to put on a 5-star match. You're going to see me try to tell a super long, convoluted story. You're going to see me kill my body, and you're going to see me, do crazy death-defying stunts and all this stuff and great wrestling. But when you see me on AEW Dark, you're going to see, a 4 to 5 minute match. You're going to see me get a little bit of what I get in, and you're going to see me try to highlight the other person as best I can. And that's because in wrestling, you have so many different jobs and positions. We shouldn't go out and try to have a 5-star match every time, because then what makes each 5-star match special? You know what I mean? You have to have squash matches. You have to have highlighted matches. You have to have gimmick matches. Then you can have your slobber knocker, 5-star matches.
I got it. You're like speaking my language right now, and I just like if I could like take this video and like that little bit of clip right there and like post it to where like it shows up on every single person in America's phone whether they care about wrestling or not, I would do it. I really would.
I mean, some people just need to realize, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just don't think about it too much. But every single match serves its purpose. An AEW Dark match serves its purpose, and then a pay-per-view match serves its purpose, whatever it's supposed to be.
1,000,000%, I agree with you, and I'm picking up what you're putting down. Speaking of you and Griff Garrison, I mentioned it in the promoting the interview and the tweets and stuff. You guys have had an insane run in the Indies as a tag team going against FTR, the Hardys, the Rock and Roll Express. In my
Yeah,
opinion, right now, FTR is the hottest and the best tag team in professional wrestling. And they were only taking limited bookings when they put the tweet out there, like, this has got to be right place, right time kind of thing. And there you guys were.
exactly. I mean, they are taking limited bookings and they're super freaking hot right now. So if I encourage anyone that wants to try and have them on their show, definitely get in contact with them. It might not be the easiest thing, and you have to be willing to speak their language, as far as what you want out of them and for a show, and they're gonna tell you what they expect and stuff. But they're businessmen, and when it comes to this business, they're top of the line. And let me tell you, they're the real freaking deal. They're the best tag team in the world, without a shadow of a doubt. And it was an honor to step in the ring with them, with my best friend Griff Garrison. But yeah, just in the last 2 months alone, the Hardys, FTR, and Rock and Roll Express. We didn't win any of those matches, of course, but each match was its own moment and experience that is just like priceless. Where at the end of the day, I came back to the promoter, and when I got my booking fee, my paycheck, I was like, oh, I forgot. Like I forgot I was getting paid for this. I'm just out here living my dream right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was truly awesome and amazing. It's like with the Hardys, it was, we grew up watching these guys. These are our childhood heroes. You know what I mean? We saw them wrestle at WrestleMania. We saw them win, the WWE title. We saw them, all like have those crazy tables, ladders, and chairs matches with the
Yeah.
Dudleys and Edge and Christian. It's like, this is what made us go out on the trampoline and almost break our necks and arms. You know what I mean? As 10 and 12-year-olds. But so that was just like a childhood dream come true. Then we get to Rock and Roll Express, and it's like, we're in a business where everybody else in the business is looking up to these guys. These are the grand Mac daddies these are the people who have pretty much revolutionized the division of the wrestling that we're in tag team wrestling. So when you have a chance to go out there and work with and essentially learn from the premier tag team, like the first people to really go out there and move the way that they did and have the types of matches that they did, it's an honor, and it's crazy, and it's a different type of wrestling than we've been exposed to before. So that is 100% a learning experience. And then you go to FTR and people who are at the top of their game right now while we're breaking into the business and doing our best. So each match is sounds great on paper, but when you dive into it, they were all so different, and it all happened so quickly just within the last 2 months, and we had to be on a different level for every single match. But It was truly awesome. And when we wrestled FTR, they had Mick Foley in their corner as the manager, and I was just starstruck, just like I was locking up with Dax, and I'm like, god dang, Mick Foley's over there. I'm like, holy moly. So I mean, I'm blessed. And I will thank God every single day I wake up for the stuff that I've been able to do so far, and the path of life that he has me on. And I just hope that it keeps going this way. It's been going in a great direction so far. If it keeps going this way, then I am super blessed. And I want to help bring up everyone around me that way too, feeling blessed.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And that you can kind of go back to the AEW Dark, and the casual watcher. They might be like, oh, that guy, man, with the big blonde hair, he jobbed out in 4 minutes. And they don't take the time to go any further. And when they do look further, they're like, man, like this dude wrestled FTR. This dude wrestled the Rock and Roll Express. And I mean, you could almost line it up as the past, present, and future of tag team wrestling, and you guys were there. And I think it just hits on that point that people should. I mean, it's hard to know every single independent wrestler there is, obviously, but when people see something they like, they should dive in, do the research, and they should be supporting you now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I mean, but that's also on us as talent, is to make you interested, to make you latch on to us, even if it not necessarily latch on, but spark your interest enough to go look at our Twitter or our Instagram, because And then my job there on my social is to plaster all the stuff that I'm doing all over the place so that you know what I'm doing, what I'm capable of, what my schedule looks like, who I'm going up against. And if anyone even took the time to and I need to do this, I need to post a clip of just what each of our opponents in those last 2 months, what they said about me and Griff at the end of the match. Because in every single match with Rock and Roll and the Hardys and FTR, they all got on the microphone after the match and they said, guys, pay attention to Griff and Marcus. We're serious. These guys are the future. Pay attention. And it's like and I mean, it might be cliche, but for three of those three teams, for three of the best tag teams in the world to say that about us, one, it's super, I mean, I'm trying not to get a big head. I'm trying not to like let it blow me up, like my ego, but I'm trying to stay as humble as possible. But to have these people say it, it's like, how can I not believe it? How can I not believe in myself when these three people are saying that? And so I need to have the expectation that other people are going to believe that too. It just takes time to bring them to real, the average viewer in so they know what I can do. And so when I go to AEW Dark next week, I'm going to try and bust my tail to spark your interest again. Go to my Twitter.
Yeah, and I think that's it's a wonderful way to put it because you can have the look, you can have the interaction with the fans, before the show, after the show, but if you're not capturing attention in the ring, because in the independents, I don't really see how you guys can capture the attention because there's only 30 or 40 people there, 100 people there. So if you lose 5 or 10 of them and they start playing with their phones and they get up and, go to the concessions or whatever, you're losing like, a third or a fourth of your audience. And I think it's harder to perform. I mean, just what I see. I think it's harder to perform in the independents than as opposed to AEW Dark in front of 10, 20, 15,000 people.
Exactly. When people are already tuning into something like AEW, they're gonna put their attention on it because I mean that's why they're tuning in. That's why they're clicking on the video. At the independent shows, it's like they could have been dragged here by a friend or family member. They're just friends and families of other wrestlers who aren't necessarily interested in your match. So a lot of it is, and I mean, so how you gain fans and a following on the independents is way different from once you're on TV. For Griff, I mean, he was hustling for 4 or 5 years, wrestling on the independents and never broke like 10,000 followers on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as he's on BTE and Sammy's vlog and he's had a few dark matches, especially after he teamed up with Brian Pillman Jr., boom, 25,000 followers just like that because people are already tuning in. So, but for me personally, and I really, this drove it home for me watching the Hardys do their meet and greet at the match that we wrestled. Me and Griff were kind of like across the area from them, like the viewing area, the tables and stuff, and they had a line out the door. And you know what? They didn't get dressed until 5 minutes before our match, and we were the main event, and they were there for 2 hours before the show even started, just because they were still talking to fans, because they didn't just sign a picture, here you go, man, bye, see you later. They took the time to talk to each fan. Each fan told them how they love them, why they love them, what their favorite moment was from them, have a little conversation with them, and make a connection with every single person that was there to see them. And I'm like, those are superstars. Those are people that get it, that know how to make fans and keep fans, and after you talk to them for 2 minutes, make you an even bigger doubler fan than what you were before, because they just totally get it. And so that's something that I've always tried to do. I love interacting and working with people. I was a martial arts instructor. It was my job to work with kids and then, grab their attention, make sure they pay attention and learn during class and things like that. But just going and interacting with fans, it's a little thing, is like every now and again sliding someone a free promo picture, talking to someone about, you're at a school event and you see someone with the school shirt on and they play football, asking them how the school's football team is doing, how the soccer track is doing, talking to the fans. And because when you go to the same independent shows over and over, you're meeting a lot of the same people. And so you recognize your fans and people who are following you, and you start to know a little bit about them too. As long as you make that connection, and you actually are friendly with them, then they have a vested interest in you too, which is what I love. It's crazy to see the Hardys do it at the level that they're at, you know, that they take the time to do that with
Yeah.
every single fan that they come in contact with, and kudos to them, because it looks so draining to have. There were probably 1,000 people there to
Wow.
shake their hands and to have a conversation with 1,000 different people, you know, in their groups, to sign autographs and take pictures and have those little 2-3 minute conversations. It seems so mentally draining. And then they went out and they wrestled us right after that. And so, I
Yeah.
mean, those are the hustlers and the businessmen that I want to be like, you know?
I think you've got some good examples because, obviously being from North Carolina, being a huge wrestling fan, it really doesn't get much bigger than the Hardys. It really doesn't.
No,
And the fact that you guys got to wrestle them and you kind of took in what they were doing and was like, that's probably a good path to go down. I mean, I think you've got nothing, absolutely nothing but success ahead of you. And the
thank you.
I've ran into independent wrestlers who think that like Twitter doesn't matter, Facebook doesn't matter, and stuff like that. And to hear you touch on the fact that you do, post this, that, and the other on Twitter, it's just like, I mean, it's the recipe for success is there,
Exactly.
from a fan's point of view, because you've got, you've got the look, the gimmick that stands out. I've seen several of your matches in person on Dark. You're telling the story, you're putting the moves out there, you're hitting the spots, and then you've just even like doing this interview. There's a lot of independent talent that think that this isn't on their radar. This isn't for them. The right people are going to find them. They don't necessarily have to put themselves out there. And so, from a fan's perspective, from my perspective, you got the total package, man. I'm not kidding.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. That means a lot. And I mean, even just from this, if only one person, three people who have never heard of me, and they just saw you promote this, and they tune in and they like what they hear, and they, oh, this guy's gonna be on Dark. That's an easy watch. I'm just gonna go click in, the next time that he's on Dark and see what he's made of. Oh, I like him. I'm gonna go to his Twitter. Boom, fan networking, and I have someone else who's gonna retweet my tweet next time. You know what I mean? Now, I suck at social media, but it is a part of the business. I definitely would never say Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, it doesn't matter. I would never say that, but it is really hard to,
Yeah,
it's its own business. It's its own hustle in a way where you have to post every day, and you have to interact with people when people are, commenting at you or retweeting your stuff. And it takes time, and it takes patience, and it takes, mental willpower, a lot more than people think, rather than just throwing a tweet out there. I mean, there's a reason why The Rock has like a whole team that just manages his social media presence. He's not actually taking any, like, tweeting any of his own stuff,
no,
half the time. He has a team doing that for him, crafting his words and what he wants to say. Any of the pictures that you see him where he's out like fishing with his daughter or something like that, that was probably taken a few weeks ago, and they're just now getting around to posting it. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
like, he's a busy man. He doesn't have time for that. I don't have, the capability to have a social media manager at the moment. So it is hard, but I'm hustling, and this is what I want to do to succeed. So hopefully one day I'll get there and I can have someone run my Twitter for me. That's the goal.
yeah. Let's get Marcus Cross big enough to where he doesn't have to run it on Twitter.
Please, your lips to God's ears, please.
Yeah, that's the goal here. Let's see if we can make that happen.
I think so, brother.
And before this is over, one little light thing I wanted to touch on and get your opinion on is what do you think about Julia Hart turning on your boy there?
Oh my gosh, Julia. I mean, we saw it coming. I
Yeah,
mean, we saw what was happening. We saw that she hadn't been the way that she is, You know, before everything Julia's going through now, she was a great person. I loved her. I loved her gimmick. I loved her attitude. She was only like 19 or 20 years old, I think. Right? She's super young, and to be as accomplished already as she is, and have the matches that she had under her belt. And just if you go and watch her dark matches or her first Dynamite match to see where she's at now. She's grown so much, and now she's coming into this character and this gimmick work. Honestly, I'm super excited and happy for Julia, but she's kind of tearing the team apart. For the Varsity Blondes, she's the catalyst to their downfall, and we all saw it coming. And you can't trust women. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
Very appropriate way to put that.
But I don't know. Honestly, I love what Griff has been able to do with the Varsity Blondes, with Julia, with
Absolutely.
Brian, and they're great to him and great people. But I want to see what he can be capable of on his own too. And hopefully, if there's room for me to come in to show everyone what Griff and Marcus are made of, because that's some chemistry that is quite frankly unmatched and unparalleled, around today. I think you could put me and Griff with someone like anybody from the Dark Order. You could put us against FTR again on TV and let everyone see. You could put us with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. I think
Oh
you
my
could put
God.
us
I would sell my house to pay to see you and Griff against the Lucha Express. Like
exactly.
I sell my house for that.
Dude, I mean, I have lots of dream matches, and the way that things are going for me right now, I feel like sooner rather than later, we're gonna see some of this stuff happen, man.
Let's put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's put it out there for the universe to mix it up and make it happen. Because I'm a big fan of Griff as well, from Firestar till now, and I absolutely love the fact that he is all elite. And I do love the Varsity Blondes. It's really hard not to get behind them at all. But you absolutely read my mind when you said you'd like to see what Griff could do maybe in singles, because we were in Greensboro when he wrestled Malachi, I think it was, and it was just like I've actually never met Griff, but like just being there, just seeing that massive pop for him in his hometown and all that other stuff, or the town he trained in that put so much energy into him,
Right.
and it was one of those things. Even though we kind of knew he was probably going to lose, it was just like just seeing somebody from like Firestar to there, and just the crowd absolutely popped for him, and I think he could make a phenomenal singles run. I really do.
I mean, dude, he's got the look, he's got the build, he's got the athleticism and the endurance, and he can accomplish whatever he wants in wrestling, hands down. But this is why it's important for people to go out and go to their local indie shows. If you're really a fan of wrestling, go and watch some indie wrestling, because you're going to see stars who are going to be on TV, 5, 10, 15 years from now. Go get a gimmick picture from them, save it, and you're gonna make thousands of dollars off of one of their original 8x10s years from now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
and also along with the gimmick picture, that's such a huge thing for you guys, is when people buy merch from you, buy gimmick from you. And last Christmas I tweeted out, like, don't buy that shirt from Walmart, don't buy that shirt from Target. Buy a wrestler shirt and gift it to a family member or friend who loves wrestling, or who loves that wrestler that you got to see that they haven't gotten a chance to see. And I always bring this up because it just goes so far for you guys.
exactly. I mean, that's just a part of branding. The more that our shirts, our merch, our gimmicks and everything are out there in the public eye, even as if we have a cool shirt and it looks nice and no one has any clue about what wrestling is, and someone's like, oh, "What is that shirt?" And you're like, then it gives you a whole it gives you a whole conversation to talk to someone about this awesome shirt that you're wearing. But two, it puts a little bit of recognition on the people that sold it to you in the first place, the brand that it comes from.
Absolutely, you're 1000% right. And 99% of the time in the independent scene, you're there selling your gimmick. Every now and then somebody else will have like their mom, their girlfriend, or whatever out there, but I'm going to go up to you and say, hey man, you killed it tonight. I can't wait to see more of your stuff. I'd love to have a picture of you. And it's just that, like you said, just making that connection, that one on one, like, hey, I really appreciate it. I'll be back here September 25th if you want to call. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
Yeah.
it's more than just a picture, because you guys do have booking fees. You do get paid for your match, but that's not the end all be all, you know.
Right.
And it's that extra $100, $200 you make from your gimmick sales just kind of pushes it over the top a little more.
Exactly. Getting that extra little gimmick money, it is super nice. And I mean, you're gonna hear it as a common theme until someone's been in the business for at least, you know, 5 or 6 years. They're probably not gonna have a booking fee that matches their gimmick sales. As a beginning wrestler, and this is what I'm telling all of the trainees that are coming out of Firestar when I get the chance to talk to them is as soon as you graduate and you start accepting your own independent bookings, the first investment you need to make is in gimmick sales. 8x10s, t-shirts, wristbands, headbands, whatever. The wristbands are great because, they can be like, you can get them for like 5 cents a pop, sell them for $2 to $5, and you're getting a great return on that. But
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be your gas money. That's going to be for future investments on other merch that you can make. But more often than not, you're coming out of a pro wrestling training academy making maybe $20 in a hot dog from the promoter. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? $30 or $40 maybe max for your first few matches if you haven't had anything notable happen to you yet. So invest in yourself and your merch, because you can go and make a $30-$40 booking, but if you go out and bust your tail and make a lot of people want to come buy your stuff, you can walk away with $200 in gimmick sales, and that gives you gas money home, and that gives you a great warm meal too. You know what I mean?
Yes, 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 yes. I love that we're on the same page here with all this and just kind of, not necessarily preaching, but just kind of putting it out there that, you know, you came from a great, training program. You are having a massive run in the indies. You've had several appearances on the AEW Dark. But the gimmick and the merch sales still goes along the way for you, even for like somebody like me who's like, this guy's got it, and I'm going to see him every chance I get. I'm going to watch him every chance I get. Like it still goes a long way for you guys.
Yeah, it's a part of our hustle. I mean, like when you go to a sporting event, they make a lot of money on tickets for you to get in, most of at like college games and stuff. But where they really make a killing is in concessions. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So come
yeah.
by our concessions. That's what I'm saying.
Come by our concessions. You should get that on a put on a shirt right there.
Yeah,
Come by my
buy
concessions.
my concessions.
Yeah. Oh man, I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and I'm gonna kind of give a plug for you because I'm just massively excited about Firestar's 10th anniversary, and I think it's June 19th. You and Griff are going to be on the same card at
Yep.
Firestar for their 10th anniversary show.
Yes, sir.
What
So
else? Go ahead.
yeah, I mean that's going to be a great show. So Firestar has their anniversary show is Wrestle Revival. So this will be their 10th year running as a promotion. And LeBron has done a great work with it. So LeBron is the owner, promoter, and one of the head talent relations for Firestar Pro Wrestling. I'm going to be tag teaming with him against Jay Malachi and Elias AK-47. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Griff Garrison's going to be in action against Oliver Sawyer, who is a recent graduate of the Firestar program and who also has trained with Seth Rollins. And
Yep.
if you've seen Oliver Sawyer, you know that is going to be a
God,
great match too.
he's
But
so good.
it's a 2-night event. So he's
Mhm.
he's doing WrestleMania business, brother. He's going to be running June 18th and June 19th.
Yep.
But yes, Griff and I will both be on the June 19th show in Greensboro.
That's just absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait. And I remember, I guess it was beginning of the year, end of last year, Griff posted, he said, LeBron, give me Oliver Sawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And like I marked out so hard when he posted that, and I'm because he posted it on Facebook and it got shared and shared and shared and shared and shared. And I was like, oh, like this has to happen. Like I won't be able to sleep if this doesn't happen.
Right.
And now
Exactly.
we're getting it, and we're getting you and him on the same card. Maybe you and Jay Malachi can maybe finish what you started. What last weekend? Maybe I
Yeah.
don't
I mean, that punk needs a little pop in the mouth. Let me
know.
let me tell you that. But but I love the how Oliver is working so hard and busting his butt to get around and have as good of matches as he's having, especially only being in the business now, maybe 2 or 3 years. I was actually Oliver's maybe second or third match only when he was still a trainee. And then that was probably that was in like the summer or fall time of 2020. But he's grown so much and worked so hard since then. But it's people like that I want to help bring up with the Firestar brand too. So Griff doing this is awesome. Calling out Oliver, and they're gonna have a banger of a match is gonna be awesome. It's people like him, people like Malachi, like Jackson Drake, or Duke O'Connor. These are people that I love to work with that have come up through the Firestar, and I want to help them get other opportunities too. So anything that we can do, have a banger match, put it out there, go watch them, go eat their stuff up too.
Yeah, we call it or I call it the FF Firestar family, because it's just all of you guys just looking out for one another and just making sure that this guy's just as successful as this guy. And for a pro wrestling fan, it's so noticeable, and it comes through so much that you guys just stick together and just want each other to succeed, and maybe even beat the crap out of each other along the way.
Exactly. I mean, what kind of family doesn't fight, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, but we fight each other and we look out for each other, and we want everyone to be successful. We want everyone to have food on their plate. We want everyone to accomplish their dreams. Firestar is great for training, and it's great for that atmosphere too. You're in a great place. And so if I'm going to finish with a plug, I'll finish with one for Firestar. Go watch their shows. Go to the June 18th and 19th anniversary show for Wrestle Revival. Watch me and Griff Garrison in action. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're ever curious about wrestling training, contact them. They have a great school and a great program. Their facility has 2 rings set up for training. They have beginner, intermediate, and advanced lessons. So people of all, athleticisms and all ages too. I think Jack and Malachi started when they were like maybe 13, 14 years old training there. You're probably going to need some parental signatures if you want to do something like that. But also there are people who are training there who are in their 20s and 30s. So if you want to get out and do professional wrestling and you want to follow it as a hobby, as a career, as your childhood dream, go to Firestar. If you're in the North Carolina any area, go to Firestar. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And along with the June show at Firestar, what else do you have coming up that the people can find you at?
So besides AEW Dark coming up, that's going to be next week at Universal Studios, but those are tapings, and so they usually will take anywhere from 1 to 3 or 4 weeks to come out on YouTube, but I'll be posting that stuff all over my social media if I do get a match and when it comes out and stuff like that. I have I'm wrestling for the PWF Heavyweight Championship on June 18th. That's going to be the night before June 19th we're at Wrestle Revival, but that's going to be in South Carolina, and that's the promotion where we just wrestled FTR and the Hardys. So I'm going to be wrestling for the heavyweight title of that promotion. And then coming up, I'm going to be doing lots of PWF and hopefully Firestar dates coming up. I want to do the AEW Dark tapings that they have at least once a month. I do have I got an invite to come do some WWE Extra Talent stuff in August. So I will be at Friday Night SmackDown in Greenville, South Carolina, August 5th, and in Raleigh on August the 12th. So that's just some of the stuff that's coming up. I don't have my other dates off the top of my head right now, but those are the big things that stick out.
I'm only like 45 minutes from Raleigh, so I might have to make that trip.
I mean, who knows what we're going to, I could go be, a security guard a night for the show, or maybe I can go in there and get my butt handed to me by Omos. Who knows?
I love it. Yeah. And I'll go just to see, like, if I see you as like security or something like that, because I do that kind of stuff too. Like, I mark out when I see some Nightmare Factory guys escorting Wardlow to the ring, or Wardlow knocking somebody out from the Nightmare Factory or something like that. So I'm all for it. I'm there to support you guys, whether you're security getting laid out if you're the one laying people out.
I appreciate it, brother, and all the other independent wrestlers. We appreciate people like you who pay attention to us and pay attention to our product, and you can realize where we're going and where we're heading, how successful we're going to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've got your social media links in the description. But go ahead and tell where everybody they can follow you on the social medias.
Yeah, so on Instagram, you can follow me at Dominic_Marcus Kross. You can follow me on Twitter at the Marcus Kross. And then on Facebook, I'm just Marcus Kross. So you guys can follow me there. And Kross is spelled with a K.
With a K, you heard it. And the links below, they're hyperlinked, they're clickable. I did all the work for the people, so there's really absolutely no excuse why they couldn't go give you a follow because they just click it, brings up your profile, and then they just have to hit the follow button
Awesome.
and they're golden. Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. You helping me. And then a few months or years from now, when I have thousands and thousands of more followers, we'll do this again, and we'll put some more recognition on each other. How about that?
My God, man, I'm all about a win-win. That's what life's all about is supporting the people that support you, putting the people over that put you over. And if there's a time and a place, I'm absolutely down.
Exactly.
There's been some guys that have did interviews with me and I've stayed in contact with, built a friendship with. And I'm a sponsor of American Lucha Wrestling here in Burlington. And I've been like, what's your guys' booking fee? Like, I want to try to guys, sponsor a match for you guys because you've supported me because I have had people, and I really don't like to say this, but I have had wrestlers that if you've never been to wrestling in North Carolina, you wouldn't know them, but they like blew me off. Like literally, like you don't have enough followers or they just leave me on red. They don't have the time for this kind of thing or something like that. And so people like you that do this and it just doesn't seem like a chore when you're on here, that kind of thing. Like I'll support you guys to the end of time. Like, like that's just what it's all about. You just agreeing to do this interview to me just like is like the best thing that could have ever happened. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I'm all about a win-win.
Exactly. That's what this is. Win-win. I appreciate it, brother. We're going to be successful together. We got to pull each other up. That's how this works. That's how we get successful is we help each other, pull each other up. Just like you talked about Firestar family. It's the same thing. We all work together and help each other out.
God, yeah, absolutely. I'm a fan of it, man. I'm a fan of it. Preaching to the choir here.
Awesome.
But I really appreciate it, man. Like I said, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. All your social medias are in the description, and I cannot wait to see you in a couple weeks here.
It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Can't wait to see it. Make sure you come by and buy my concessions, all right?
Oh, I got you. Oh, I got you, man. I'm already there. I'm already there.
I got you.
I really appreciate everybody that tuned in. Go follow Marcus. Go find him at a show. Go watch him win a heavyweight championship down in South Carolina, too. I hope everybody enjoyed this. We'll see you on the next episode of Over the Top Rope.
All right. Thank you, brother. Peace out.